Good evening. Welcome to our YF Reading Marathon. We're glad that you could join us again tonight. We're here on the first Friday of March, and so we want to take this moment to do our reading for tonight. We're glad that you could join us, and we hope that you can join us every week on Sunday nights, posted on Monday. And thank you for joining us again.
Exodus 23. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. You shall not fall in with the many to do evil, nor shall you bear witness in a lawsuit siding with the many, so as to pervert justice, nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his lawsuit. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall bring it back to him. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving him with it. You shall rescue it with him. You shall not pervert the justice due to the poor in his lawsuit. Keep far from a false charge, and do not kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not acquit the wicked. And you shall not take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the clear-sighted and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a sojourner. You know the heart of a sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. For 6 years you shall sow your land and gather in its yield, but the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave, the beasts of the field may eat. You shall do likewise with your vineyard and with your olive orchard. 6 days you shall do your work, but on the 7th day you shall have rest, that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and that the son of your servant woman and the alien may be refreshed. Pay attention to all that I have said to you, and make no mention of the names of other gods, nor let it be heard on your lips. 3 times in the year you shall keep a feast to me. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread as I commanded you. You shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days at the appointed time in the month of Aviv, for in it you came out of Egypt. None of you shall appear before me empty-handed. When you shall keep the feast of harvest, of the first fruits of your labor, of what you sow in the field. You shall keep the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in from the field the fruit of your labor. 3 times in the year shall all your males appear before the Lord God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, or let the fat of my feast remain until the morning. The best of the first fruits of your ground you shall keep. Bring it into the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Behold, I sent an angel before you to guard you on the way, and to bring you to the place that I have prepared. Pay careful attention to him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if you carefully obey his voice and do all that I say, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. When my angel goes before you and brings you to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I blot them out. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do as they do, but you shall utterly overthrow them and break their pillars in pieces. You shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from you. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days. I will send my terror before you, and will throw into confusion all the people against whom you shall come. And I will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from before you. I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the wild beasts multiply against you. Little by little I will drive them out from before you, until you have increased and possessed the land. And I will set your border from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness of the Euphrates. For I will give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them and their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you.
Exodus chapter 24. Then the Lord instructed Moses, "Come up here to me and bring along Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the Israel elders. All of you must worship from a distance. Only Moses is allowed to come near the Lord. The other must not come near, and none of the other people are allowed to climb up the mountain with him." Then Moses went down to the people and repeated all the instruction and regulation the Lord had given him. All the people answered with one voice, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." Then Moses carefully wrote down all the Lord's instructions. Early the next morning, Moses got up and built an altar at the foot of the mountain. He also set up 12 pillars, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent some of the young Israelite men to present burnt offerings and to sacrifice bulls as peace offerings to the Lord. Moses drank half of the blood from these animals into basin, and the other half he splattered against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it out aloud to the people. Again, they all responded, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded. We will obey." Then Moses took the blood from the basin and splattered it over the people, declaring, "Look, this blood confirmed that the covenant the Lord has made with you in giving you these instructions." Then Moses, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel climbed up the mountain. There they saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there seems to be a surface of brilliant blue lapis lazuli, as clear as the sky itself. And though these nobles of Israel gazed upon God, he did not destroy them. In fact, he ate a covenant meal, eating and drinking in his presence. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain, stay there, and I will give you the tablet of stone on which I have inscribed the instruction and commands, so you can teach the people." So Moses and his assistant Joshua set out, and Moses climbed up the mountain of God. Moses told the elder, "Stay here and wait for us until we come back. Aaron and Hur are here with you. If anyone disputes while I'm gone, consult with them." Then Moses climbed up the mountain, and the cloud covered it. And the glory of the Lord settled down on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the seventh day, the Lord called to Moses from inside the cloud. To Israelites at the foot of the mountain, the glory of the Lord appeared at the summit like consuming fire. Then Moses disappeared into the cloud. As he climbed higher up the mountain, he remained on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights.
Exodus 25. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the people of Israel that they take from me in contribution. From every man whose heart moves him you shall receive the contribution for me. And this is the contribution that you shall receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, purple and blue and scarlet, yarns and fine twined linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skin, goat skin, acacia wood, oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense, onyx stones and stones for setting for the ephod and for the breastpiece. And let them make me a sanctuary that may dwell in their mindset, exactly as I show you concerning the pattern of the tabernacle, and of all its furniture you shall make it. They shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be its length, a cubit half its breadth, and a cubit of half its height. You shall overlay it with pure gold, inside and out shall you overlay it, and you shall make on it a molding of gold around it. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them on its 4 feet, 2 rings on the one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side of it. You shall make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and you shall put the poles into the rings of the side of the ark to carry the ark by them. The poles shall remain from in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And you shall put it into the ark testimony that I shall give you. You shall make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and half shall be its length, and a cubit and a half its breadth. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold, and of hammered work shall you make them on the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub on the one end, and 1 cherub on the other end. Of one piece with the mercy seat shall you make the cherubim on its 2 ends. The cherubim shall spread out their wings above, overshadowing the mercy seat, with their wings, their faces on one to the other. Towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. And you shall put the mercy seat on the top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. There I will meet with you, and from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony, I will speak with you about all that I will give you in commandment for the people of Israel. You shall make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits shall be its length, and a cubit's breadth, and a cubit and half its height. You shall overlay it with pure gold, and make a molding of gold around it. And you shall make a rim around it, and it a hand breadth wide, and a molding of gold around the rim. And you shall make for it 4 gold rings, and hasted the rings to the 4 corners of its 4 legs. Close to the frame the rings shall lie as holders for the poles to carry the table. You shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and the table shall be carried with these. And you shall make its plates and dishes for incense, and its flagons and bowls with which to pour drinks. Offering you shall make them of pure gold. And you shall set the bread of the presence on the table before regularly. You shall make a lampstand of pure gold. The lampstand shall be of hammered work, its base, its stem, its cups, its calyxes, and its flowers shall be of one piece with it. And there shall be 6 branches going out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side of its 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 cups made like almond blossoms, each with calyx and flowers on one branch. And 3 cups made like almond blossoms, each with calyx and flowers on the other branch. So for the 6 branches going out of the lampstand, and on the lampstand itself there shall be 4 cups made like almond blossoms, and their calyxes and flowers, and a calyx of one piece under each pair of the 6 branches going out from the lampstand. Their calyxes and their branches shall be of one piece with it. The whole of it is single piece of hammered work of pure gold. You shall make 7 lamps for it, and the lamps shall be set up so as to give light on the space in front of it. Its tongs and their trays shall be of pure gold. It shall be made with all its utensils out of a talent of pure gold. And see that you make them after a pattern for them, which is being shown you on the mountain.
Exodus 26. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined, lined, and blue and purple and scarlet yarns. You shall make them with cherubim skillfully worked into them. The length of each curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits, and all the curtains shall be the same size. 5 curtains shall be coupled to one another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled to one another. And you shall make loops of blue on the edge of the outermost curtains in the first set. Likewise, you shall make loops on the edge of the outermost curtains in the second set. 50 loops you shall make one of the curtains, and 50 loops you shall make on the edge of the curtain. That is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one another, and you shall make 50 clasps of gold and couple of the curtains one to another with the clasps, so that the tabernacle may be a single whole. You shall also make curtains of goat hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shall you make. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall be the same size. You shall couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and the 6th curtain you shall double over at the front of the tent. You shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain, that is the outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain, that is the outermost in the second set. You shall make 50 clasps of bronze, and put the clasps into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be a single whole. In the part that remains of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains shall hang over the back of the tabernacle, and the extra that remains in the length of the curtains, in the cubit on one side and the cubit on the other side, shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on the side and that side to cover it. And you shall make for the tent a cover of tanned ram's skin, and a covering of goat skin on top. You shall make upright frames for the tabernacle of acacia wood. 10 cubits shall be the length of a frame, and cubit and a half of the breadth of each frame. There shall be 2 tenons in each frame for fitting together. So shall you do for all the frames of the tabernacle. You shall make the frames for the tabernacle, 20 frames for the south side, and 40 bases of silver. You shall make the 20 frames. 2 bases under one frame for its 2 tenons, and 2 bases under the next frame for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 frames, and 40 bases of silver, 2 bases under one frame, and the 2 bases under the next frame. And for the rear of the tabernacle, westward, you shall make 6 frames, and you shall make 2 frames for the corner of the tabernacle in the rear. They shall be separate beneath, but joined at the top. At the first ring, thus shall be it with both of them. They shall form the 2 corners, and each shall be 8 frames with their base of silver, 16 bases, 2 bases under one frame, and 2 bases under another frame. You shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames, of one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frame of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars of the frame, 5 for the frames of the side of the tabernacle at the rear westward. The middle bar halfway up the frames shall run from end to end. You shall overlay the frames with gold, and shall make the rings of gold for the holders of the bars. And you shall overlay the bars of gold. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan for it that you were shown on the mountain. And you shall make the vial of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine twined line. It shall be made with cherubim skillfully worked into, and you shall hang it on 4 pillars of the acacia overlaid with gold, with hooks of gold on 4 bases of silver. And you shall hang the vial from the collapse and bring the ark of the testimony in there within the vial. And the vial shall separate for you the holy place from the most holy. You shall put the mercy seat on the ark of the testimony in the most holy place, and you shall set the table outside the vial and the lampstand on the south side of the tabernacle, opposite to the table. And you shall put the table on the north side. You shall make a screen for the entrance of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine twined line embroidered with needlework. And you shall make for the screen 5 pillars of acacia and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be gold, and you shall cast 5 bases of bronze for them.
Exodus 27. You shall make the altar of acacia wood 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be square, and its height shall be 3 cubits. And you shall make horns for it on its 4 corners. Its horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots for it to receive its ashes, and shovels and basins and forks and fire pans. You shall make all its utensils of bronze. You shall also make for it a grating, a network of bronze, and on the net you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners. And you shall set it under the ledge of the altar, so that the net extends halfway down the altar. And you shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put through the rings, so that the poles are on the 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. You shall make it hollow with boards, as it has been shown you on the mountain. So shall it be made. You shall make the court of the tabernacle. On the south side of the court shall have hangings of fine twined linen, 100 cubits long for one side. Its 20 pillars and their 20 bases shall be of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for its length on the north side there shall be hangings 100 cubits long. Its pillars 20 and their bases 20 of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side there shall be hangings for the 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and 10 bases. The breadth of the court on the front to the east shall be 50 cubits. These hangings for the one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 bases. On the other side of the hangings shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. For the gate of the court there shall be a screen, 20 cubits long, of blue and purple and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen embroidered with needlework. They shall have 4 pillars, and with them 4 bases. All pillars around the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their bases of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the breadth 50, and the height 5 cubits, with hangings of fine twined linen. and bases of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for every use, and all its pegs, and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze. You shall command the people of Israel that they bring to you pure beaten olive oil for the light, that a lamp may regularly be set up to burn. In the tent of meeting outside the veil, that is, before the testimony, Aaron and his son shall tend to it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever to be observed throughout their generations by the people of Israel.